Welcome to Color Me Happy podcast. My name is Brandy Hofer. Thank you so much for being here today. I sure do appreciate your time. I'm an artist, author, educator, mother to three, and I totally was a pretty hard studio artist, creating artwork for over a decade for sure, not wanting to age myself. And I transitioned after a serious year of burnout when I realized that I couldn't just make art and sell it anymore. It wasn't working for me, and I learned ways to diversify my income as growing and expanding, creating community, and it's been a really cool adventure ever since. And what I'm specifically talking about today is, how that growth happened, why, and resting and why we need rest. I want to talk about that in this bonus episode. So I just had a wonderful weekend in Saskatoon. I took time to rest, and I posted about this on our Instagram a little bit, and it's hard to post about hard topics. It's hard to post about hard topics. Yes, it's hard. It's challenging because you're putting yourself out there, and you don't know, how others will respond, and it's a little bit scary. That's the way social media it is. It's really scary, and you're continually putting yourself out there, and in fact, people avoid it entirely because some people are just a little bit more introverted in that way, or they don't feel comfortable. However, I did post it because I was like, if I'm feeling this way as a woman and a mother, there probably are a lot of other mothers out there or partners who feel this way. And we actually are going to talk about this subject matter a little bit more in the next few months, in the summertime, partnerships and what that looks like. I think we're getting close to our 100th episode, and we're bringing back Heather. She said I could never call her this, but I just will secretly once. Our sexpert. She's like, please don't. But she is our most popular episode. Let's talk about sex. And every time I read the title, I'm like, I want to sing the song, Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. Anyway, yeah, she's by far, because it's one of those things that no one wants to talk about, but everyone wants to listen, because it's like everyone does it, but no one talks about it. Unless you're friends with me, of course. So anyway, I also bring on Jill Kelly, and she talks about her partnership with her husband as well, and what those look like. Heather actually talks about, and I come to here in my studio space, my new studio space, and she came over and we talked about partnerships in terms of friendships, relationships, and one more. Well, it's a secret. You'll have to wait till it comes out. It's going to be the 100th episode. It's a secret because I can't remember, but we'll leave a little mystery in there for you. Everyone loves a secret. By the way, social media tip or email sequence or email newsletter tip, everyone loves a secret. They can't help themselves. You put the little shh emoji and everyone opens it. Right? Okay, that's my social tip for today if you are curious. So I went to Saskatoon. I took time for myself, and honestly, in the last few months, I have heard several times that I don't want you to burn out, which I have a history of. I only really burnt out the one time, so it's not. I know the signs now. You live and you learn. The only way you learn is to live. So, but for some reason, people like to tell me that they're worried, or I take on too much, or whatever. So finally I asked my husband, I was like, do people, as a father of three and an owner of a business and with a staff, do people ever say they're worried about you or have any concern behind it? And he's like, no, not really. I hear good job a lot. And I was like, fuck. Yeah, so I was just I just, it's like a constant thing. And even me as a society member, I feel like I, put other women in a box sometimes too, even, just because it's something that's gone over years and years and years and time, and like, the old women are the homemakers, and that's the way it is, and we take care of everyone. And honestly, I want my husband to be a part of our children's lives, and that's how our partnership works. And so it's such a short season that I feel like it would be a disservice to him too, to have to miss this, because he works hard. Like, he has this wonderful business and he has a staff, and at this moment, if his staff can pick up so he can be a more present partner and parent, I think is that not what we all work and strive toward in our lives, for more freedom? Is that not why we work, is for freedom? So something to think about. Check out that post. Tell me what you think. So I was in Saskatoon, got a little bit of, it was hard to take off, let me just say. Because when you tell people that you're resting, it's just like, and this is society, it's like, we must work. How dare you say this is too hard, and that you need to rest and take time for yourselves. And as creatives and human beings, we work more efficiently and effectively when we do take those rest times, when we do take time every day to, sit in the hammock for 5 minutes, and you're like, that 10-15 minute rest, like, I feel like a new human again. We're constantly surrounded by stimuli and technology, and we just need, like, our brains need it. You need sleep. I always talk about that in the book. Like, sleep is your number one priority. So I knew that with our big, with our mural class that just came out, and supporting people there, and with all these spring mural projects, in our art academy, we kind of headed out into the community. And with our big mural project, Choose Love and Join Hands and Truth and Reconciliation, we got a lot of fundraising things, a lot of meetings, a lot of me organizing, sponsors, paint orders, scissor lifts, like, not to overwhelm you, but it's a whole bunch of people, videography, and working with our team to coordinate a whole bunch of moving parts. Okay, let's just say there's a lot of moving parts and and I'm working with, I don't even know how I got so lucky to get to this point. It's like the community's behind it. I want to cry every time I think about it or talk about it. It's a very special project, and I feel honored to have found myself in this position. So, but I knew it was a lot, so I booked a trip to Saskatoon for an overnight stay at one of my little favorite. I love the Alt Hotel, and I love it because, and now I love it more because Hearth is across the street. This really cool restaurant that's in, is it Remy? The Remy? I get so self-conscious when I pronounce names. The Remy Modern. So it's like art and good food, and it's right on the river, so you can like go running in the morning. Anyway, it's the perfect treat to treat yourself to, like, a couple's night, it would have been smart to be sponsored, but it's in no way sponsored. So I loved that getaway, and I always run into my friends who also book. She's so great. She's a community member who also works hard and, like, books these trips, and we always talk about food. It's Christine. If you're local, you know who I'm talking about. She is amazing. She just got an award in our community for all her amazing work. So she loves food probably more than me. And who doesn't love food? And so I always run into her randomly there because we're like, we're taking a couple's night. And she's like, so are we. I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, where are you going? And then, where are you eating breakfast? And honestly, I love solo vacations. Like, I love going with my partner too. It's a different experience. And I fell in love with doing this when in my early 20s, which I think is important for any young woman, for self-discovery, confidence, and so much more, is to travel solo, because you meet incredible people. If you travel with another person, you're just always talking to that other person. You never, strike up random conversations. I met like at least 11 new friends while I was in Saskatoon, everywhere I went. And the only person that was next to me that I didn't strike up a conversation with was this man from Fast and the Furious who was at this Poached for breakfast, and so many people approached him asking if he was in Fast and the Furious. I was consciously like, don't say anything, which is outside of my personality, because I like to say hi to everyone, and just be like, what's going on? And so, like, how's your breakfast? Like, and it was bench seating, so we were like super cozy, meaning I could hear everything him and his agent were talking about. And I was like, just stare at your computer, work, and eat your breakfast. Do not disturb this person who has been disturbed so many times and had to say he wasn't in Fast and the Furious, because the first time he said he was in Fast and the Furious, it was like a 9-minute conversation with the Fast and the Furious fan. So, anyway, it was a fun trip. I went to the drop spot in Saskatoon, had an incredible time. So it was like work play, but also time away for me to recharge from my 3 children. They are like constant. They are constantly constant. It's just, there's no way around it. They're amazing. I love them so much. But like, we all need a breather. It's just, I like, there's so much energy, and you can't, even if they weren't children, you can't be constantly surrounded by others and expect it for everything to go swimmingly all the time. That's just not a realistic view. So I missed home for sure, even though it was like a day and a half. I love my house. I love my bed. I love everything about it. But when I go away, I appreciate my house, my bed, my bath, my children. They appreciate me when I come back even more. It's a really good thing to book those in when you know, into your calendar, if you're a planner, to book them in advance when you know you're going through an overwhelming time in your life. I think it's very conscious and smart. But I also went to just touch base with my friends in Saskatoon who are creatives. And as creatives, we need that time. We need time where we just like, where I was walking by the river by myself and just sitting by the river, just sitting in my hotel room. There was a giant thunderstorm, just watching the rain on the window. That's how we get inspired. That's how we solve our problems, is that like downtime that's like there's nothing else going on. It's so beautiful. I love it. I also love the play and the go of being a mother artist, and so it's like a really nice balance. So our book actually basically takes you through seeing your everyday ordinary as extraordinary, because it's totally possible when you plan out your schedule in such a way that, like right now, we're having quiet time and I'm able to and if you're interested, I will tell you how my days go, but there's a routine and there's a mindfulness about it that I book in time every day where they get their quiet time, they recharge and rest after we've been outside in the spray park in the sun, and we eat and we rest, and then I like plug away, and then we're back outside again, full energy. So it's like this really nice ebb and flow. So I went, and I want to talk to you about collaborating with other creatives as a big subject for this podcast. And part of my expansion and growth from burnout specifically, how I grew was I stopped trying to do everything by myself and on my own. So reaching out and working with other people, and how can I be more inclusive, and how can this have more people? People though, and while we're talking about partnerships, and I hope you tune into those future episodes about partnerships, is like people who like speak to your soul. I'm not talking about like partnering with people who you just want to partner with because, I don't know, they have a lot of followers, or people that, you know, have a shop or something. Not that way. People who believe in you and you believe in them, and you're going to lift one another up together, you know? Your friends, your creative friends. And so actually when I got involved in the Drop Spot like 2 months ago, they had a Be Brave day. We talk about that in our book, Be Brave. The days where you feel like on top of the world. And Greg actually talked about this in our live. So check out Brandy Hofer Studios. We went live with the Drop Spot, and we talked about this too. Greg's like, I was like, we're not ready. Let's wait 3 days. He talked about it with his partner, Kristen. And they had just had this baby whose name is Sunny, and he's the cutest thing on the face of the planet and lives up to his name. And he just had a Be Brave Day moment, and he's like, no, I'll just email her right now. And he's like, you got back to us so fast. I'm like, yeah, you just seemed super nice and genuine, and I didn't care that you were just starting out, and you're just nice. And those people are hard to come across. And I went and performed there, and we did like this collaborative painting and had the best day ever. And they were so sweet, and they made me, I brought them some art, and they made me some homemade gifts in this homemade painted bag. And that's what I'm talking about, like these dream partnerships, these dream people that you can work with and you can grow together. That's like, I love the Jen and Kutcher podcast because she hires everyone with gut feelings, and she's very much more meticulous and business minded plus creative. Like, she really loves marketing. She's very savvy at it. I like marketing. I'm like, if I could just have a perfect partnership with someone who also loves marketing, but she also has people who work for her who love marketing. So then they grow together. And she has a team and a family, right? And that's totally, like, when you hook up with people in any sort of a collaboration, you just have to go with your heart and your gut. Don't think too hard with your head. Your heart and your gut. And sometimes it works. Most of the time it works if you go with that, like 99% of the time. And if it doesn't, it just doesn't. And you can both move on and grow, right? People come into your life for a reason. And sometimes we don't know what that reason is until later. And I think that's a perfect place to end. But I just had something to say. I haven't done a bonus episode in a really long time. Check out our recent post at Brandy Hofer Studios, where you can find the photography from our beautiful collaboration. And Artist Talk is on there. We did some live, and I hope you have the greatest week ever. And if you would like to check out our mural class or join our free Color Me Happy community, please do so. They're both places where you can feel empowered and seen. And all of our classes are in learning actually have an element of everything I always talk about, like client relations, manifesting. Like, they're not just a class where I'm like, look, you can paint a mural and here's the materials. It's like, how do you see yourself painting a mural? What kind of spaces are you envisioning your artwork to be in? Like, it's a really powerful class. Same with portrait class. Like, everything we do has an extra element of taking you there. not just giving you some tools and wishing you the best and throwing you out there, but like how to find these perfect partnerships and see yourself in them if you're not quite there yet. We only hope that for you. And of course, I have some beautiful partnerships and support for this podcast, specifically Nouveau Laser and Aesthetic Center, Oasis Hot Yoga and Spin Studio, and Red Bicycle Communications. We thank you so much, and we thank you, listener, for your time. We appreciate your support, and we appreciate you being here. Send me a message anytime if there's like topics you're interested in, or if you know the perfect person, or if that's you. Feel free to reach out and let me know. If you're like, I would love like a women's health hormone expert on, I'm gonna reach out to Nicole Jardim. There I go with my nervous naming again. She wrote the best book ever, but I'm going to say that, who knows? I'll just write it down, right? I'll manifest it. Nicole Jardim, come on my podcast, please. Who knows? Maybe I'm talking to her bestie right now. You have a super fan who has her own podcast. And she wants to talk to you, Nicole. Anyway, I hope you have the best week ever. Remember, and I'll end with this. My mom always said it. You are in charge of your own destiny. She said that like 6 months. She just kept saying it over and over before she passed, and it resonates with me today. It's how I finished my book, and so you are in charge of your own destiny. But I also have a question for you. I don't know how long, if anyone stuck around to the very end after the credits, but I am like thinking, and I'm chatting about with my team. The original name for the podcast was Art and Motherhood Unfiltered. So, and same with my book. And the Color Me Happy community could stay the Color Me Happy community. I think it's a beautiful community, and that's a great name for it. But in terms of like new people who need this space, who need the support of this podcast and my book, and then of course once they find that, they would come to the community. If Art and Motherhood would, because it's still early, I mean, nothing's set in stone really. If my book, because it's so not niche at all, it's niche in the way if you know me, but if you don't know me, and I want to help as many people as possible. What do you think about that? Me changing the podcast back. This is so, like, it's so funny, but it's a perfect time because my website's being updated and I've hired a dream team. So we're talking about it this week with the crew. Message me, please, if you have insight or thoughts. And not like fear-based or anything. I just want it to be as findable as possible. And I feel like most of my audience members are artists or mothers or creatives. So, and we all speak to each other's souls, and it is a give and take partnership, just like we talked about today. So let me know your thoughts, and we'll chat soon, my friend. You are remember, that's from a new sign up. You are in charge of your own destiny. Every day, every conscious decision in every present moment, you are in charge. And you have the choice to squeeze that moment for everything it can be. Okay. All the love. Chat soon. Bye. If you're looking for some time for yourself to relax, release, and unwind, Oasis has the perfect space for you. They offer yoga and spin classes of all levels. Whether you are a beginner or advanced student, Oasis thrives on accommodating all aspects of the practice. Let their serene environment and gracious staff help you in your journey of peace, healing, and strength. Sign up online at www.oasishotyogastudio.com or by downloading the Oasis Hot Yoga Studio app. Feel like yourself. You deserve it.